Alright guys, it's time for Allegedly
It's time for Allegedly
Jazz. Williamson. We're in a theme park. We're in a theme park, guys.
No, we're in Waffle House theme park at 9 a.m. You know,
John Cage thought that like music was purposeless play. I've talked to you about this before. That music is purposeless play, and that his version of music is just sitting out on his porch and listening to the sounds of nature, and that's the music. So maybe the music is just the ambient noise around us.
that's a pretty boring definition.
And simply by being, is it a boring definition?
Yes.
What's your definition?
Well, it is audible art.
Okay, art doesn't mean anything.
It does. It. You can easily.
What does it mean?
It is an experience of motion or story through senses.
So if it's not emotion or story, it's not art.
I wouldn't say so.
You just put that in the
No,
definition.
I'm agreeing. I'm saying that, yes.
So you're saying that art has to be emotion or story.
Yes.
But there's a lot of art that's very unemotional. Or is being unemotional really a form of emotion anyway?
Kind of, yes.
So like an abstract painting that's just black and is kind of representing the abstract of or an
Easy. It
absence of
costs $1
emotion.
billion, but that's because I want to manipulate the art market, not actually.
But it's still, I mean, yeah, obviously, billionaires like hide their money in that so they don't have to pay taxes.
Right.
But, you know, Frank Zappa, like a lot of his albums, they're kind of built upon like sort of fucking with the listener, and he'll just write like a doo-wop song about the ugliest part of your body, and then proceed to play a piano concerto that's like, you know, the least emotional piano concerto you've ever heard, and then saxophones playing some ridiculous Chinese melody in, you know, half steps on top of each other, and it's like, well, that's like purposefully unemotional and purposefully uninspiring. It's supposed to make you feel how meaningless and purposeless the world
But
is,
it's telling
and
a
it's supposed to
story.
feel absurd. It's not telling
It's a story.
There's no story to follow.
These feelings of
What's a story?
So, what you want me to do is argue about semantics while we're going on.
No. This is the volume. This was all planned out. Story. Okay, so you say that art has to be emotion or story,
Or both.
or both. Well, okay, but what if it's like? So is this art?
Maybe. Is it telling a story?
My point is that art doesn't have to tell a story. If I write a description of a tree,
Do you consider fantasy books literature art?
yes.
Then it's art because it's telling a story. Of course, it has emotion in it,
But not
it's mostly story.
because it's telling a story.
I feel that it exactly is. This is the problem with semantics. It's all subjective whenever you get down to its bits. So,
I don't know. I think I have a much wider idea. I would say art is just kind of anything that's done with expressive intent can be art.
I mean, I make jokes with experience. It's not art. It's just a joke.
I would say that's art. I mean, would you say that a comedy, a play or a film or a TV show that's a comedy, that's art?
Yes, but it also tells a story.
But just because it tells a story? So a joke book isn't art.
No, it's a joke book.
But I would say that it is art. Because it was created with expressive intent. Or a book of poetry that's like...
It technically tells a story. Well, poetry...
What if I write poetry that's like completely rhythmic poetry, that's just describing nature? So maybe there's a very subtle sort of emotion to it, but something that you really is not in there. Or what if, what if you have someone who makes, models of things? Maybe a still life. A still life painting. You could say that doesn't have very much emotion, doesn't really have a story.
It has emotion.
Okay, so would you say that anything a human does has emotion? Because a joke book has emotion. A joke book has emotion.
Then we're defining what emotion is, which is impossible because it's a completely social thing. So, like, I don't know.
So does art have to be social?
Yes.
So if you were stuck in a space station, like a Major Tom situation,
Okay.
and you're David Bowie, and you actually improvise the song Major Tom. The song isn't art. Or is it because of the emotion, obviously? And the story. There's an emotion and a story.
I don't get what point you're trying to make, but
I am sort of writing myself, I'm not even sure.
if it's based
Anyways,
off of
John Cage said that,
presumptive social systems, and also, then yeah, I mean,
okay, would you say that art is play? That art is kind of an advanced form of play? Because what is play?
Art, so it's not advanced.
Oh, really? Play is art, and
Yes.
yet jokes
Because
aren't
it
art.
tells a story.
Jokes aren't art.
Jokes don't tell a story, but a comedy does.
A
'cause
joke
comedy
can
is
tell a story. A joke could be a story.
Well, but is the point of the joke the story, or is it the punchline?
But it has a story
I
in it.
guess,
So
I
is the
guess,
story
I
that you
guess.
use to tell the joke art, but the joke itself isn't art?
I guess.
But that doesn't seem right.
Good for you.
This is like the most philosophical Allegedly Jets.
And we've had some pretty philosophical legends.
Okay, but so would you say that a proverb isn't art? Like a rolling stone gathers no moss. That isn't art.
Well, is it that it tells us? Isn't a proverb like telling a story through the wisdom?
Well, it's like advice, kind of.
Advice.
It's kind of poetic advice.
Well, it matters, I guess, if it has poetic intent.
If it has what?
If it has poetic intent.
Poetic
If
intent.
it's meant just to be like life lessons, then no, it's not art. But if it's
And in
meant
order
to
for
make you
poetic
go like,
intent to be artistic, it has to be emotion or story. God damn it! Now we're circling back. Okay, so John Cage said that music was purposeless play
okay,
because it's like literature, you know, that's like words, and words like do things. But like music and like paintings, you know, you're kind of representing reality. Music, I mean, other than I guess maybe bird songs, possibly, or like
chimes.
yeah, or maybe just like, you know, sounds in the woods, like hearing like the footsteps of animals and shit like that.
White noise.
Maybe that's kind of what music is imitating in a way, possibly. But like the sound of a piano, that's like completely abstract. That was like created by humans, and the fact that you hear these tones and they're pleasing to you, and if you do just the right tones in just the right way, it causes an emotional reaction in you. Like that's completely abstract, and it's also useless. It has no actual purpose. Oh, actually you could, because you could say like music might be used as a lullaby for a baby, or maybe it's used as this tribal song that gets people all riled up or whatever. But it's like this thing that's like separate, you know, from everything else in the world.
Wait, now you got me.
That's why it's like so closely associated with God, you know?
Wait, is art necessary for society to sustain itself?
Is a society if it doesn't have art? Or would you say that it's just barbarous?
Yeah, I'm 14 and this is the...
Like, is art what separates us from an ant society? Because ants, you know, they have very complicated societies. Everyone has jobs. What's happening? Everyone has jobs in ant societies. You know, they're very complicated hierarchical structures, very efficient. They even wage war on different colonies, but they don't have art. So is art the thing that separates us from... Would there be aliens that don't have art?
There would have to be more like robots, you know, I'd say. Just focus on work more than anything else. But that clearly doesn't exist because meaning is what gets us to do things.
But anyways, John Cage, music is purposeless play.
You've
It
said
basically
this
is.
like 15
It
times
basically
without
is.
explaining it.
It basically is because it doesn't have any utilitarian purpose in society. It doesn't intrinsically help anyone. It really is the most advanced form of just play. You know, just something that is used to pass the time, used to make people feel good. It's very entertaining, but it doesn't contribute anything material to anyone in any way. It's not. It doesn't really have a message. It can have a message inside of it, but I'm saying music itself, not a song necessarily. But music is purposeless play. And so John Cage would do crazy shit, like instructing his performers to take the text of Finnegan's Wake and improvise a bunch of wacky shit going on. These were kind of scores where the whole score would just be kind of an explanation of what to do. It would almost be more of a science experiment than a musical composition. And that's really what most academic music has looked like for the last, I would say, 50 or so years. They look more like science experiments than compositions.
I mean, I feel like. There goes water. But are people listening to that for?
No one.
So then I wouldn't consider that.
But it was created with a very artistic purpose.
It was. So now we have to set the boundary that there exists art that is not meant to be listened to.
Well, people do listen to it. There are people.
It's not meant to be listened to. He didn't make that thinking that everybody's going to.
Well, no, he made it to be performed. It was something that these are more like happenings, which were very popular in the '60s, where you would get a bunch of actors to produce a happening, and it was very artistic and strange. It's considered aleatoric music. That is music with elements that are completely left up to the performer and are also possibly controlled by random chance.
So you might say there are actually 3 categories of art: art that is enjoyable, art that isn't enjoyable, and art that is meant to not be enjoyable.
Well, it's not meant to not be enjoyable per se.
I'm just
It's just that it's not structured.
There's no point to this if there's no meaning.
Well, it's also kind of in the face of. It's also kind of this type of art was being produced in the face of absurdism becoming a popular philosophy among academics. So it was kind of like nothing matters. So why can't music just be, avant-garde, completely improvised random shit? And we've never done anything like that. So it's not like we'd be able to have a well-formed opinion on what that means.
No, I was I was doing this with the glove, and apparently there were.
How annoying do you think this episode would be to listen to?
Let's give it between an hour and less than an hour.
That was the best $5.
So, you know how some bad rappers,
Yes, thank you.
just talk during their rap songs?
Mumble.
Okay, but they don't even talk on beat. They don't sing. It's not singing whatsoever.
I haven't heard that.
They don't rap whatsoever.
As far as I can
It's
tell,
just
they tap.
sometimes-
As far as I can tell, they
It's
rap
just
on
sometimes
beat.
that these
I don't think. Show me this rap song where they're not on the beat. Show me.
Sometimes artists just talk before their songs.
Okay, yeah.
Do you consider that music?
Do I consider that music? Well, no. Maybe it's not music per se, but it is part of the performance.
Okay. So it's not music. Right, you're wasting my time. You said something like that. I'm going to need you to put a break. Oh. 10-minute wait, they said.
I guess you might call some of John Cage's stuff a composed performance, because it's a performance with very specific rules, but I would say it's more of a performance than a music.
Isn't General Electric the ones who make the washing machines? I think so.
Guys,
We are inside of a wind tunnel. 1001. Help me! I'm scared. So scared. This is some good stuff. This is some good stuff. Look at that stuff. That's some
Twinkie.
oh.